Hi guys, join me as I show you my favorite price figure of 2024. So guys, we will be doing this by toy series or by toy line. And so far we have unboxed 7 toy series, namely Vibration Star, Grand Line Series Extra, Grand Line Men, Grand Line Lady, King of Artists, Grandista, and Ichiban Kuji. So guys, let's start with the Vibration Star figures. Here are all the Vibration Star figures that we have unboxed last year. And among this, I've picked 3 figures as my favorites. First, Killer Bee. With this figure, I like how Banpresto used his iconic pose, as well as the details are also on point. The figure looks exactly like how he looks in the anime. Hopefully, we get to see more figures of Killer Bee this year. Next figure, we have Uchiha Obito version number 2. With this figure, what I like the most is the pose. The dynamic pose really suits the figure, and when it comes to detail, the figure looks simple but nonetheless the figure looks good. Last but not the least, we have Kurapika version number 2. It's the same thing with this figure. I like how dynamic the pose is, as well as how the chain goes around him. Also, when it comes to the hair, I like how well sculpted it is. And when it comes to the face, I like the facial expression that they picked. It really suits him well. Moving on, we have Grand Line Extra. And here's all the figure that we have unboxed last year. To be fair, all figures looks good to me, but I feel like one figure stands out more than the others, and that is Boa Hancock and Salome. Earlier last year, they released Boa Hancock figure without Salome, and later on they released this figure with Salome. I feel like with Salome here feels like a bonus, but the boa figure itself looks well done. From details to the facial expression and just the overall look of the figure, everything is on point. And when it comes to Salome, well, it looks like Salome. Also, Salome here is made up of different type of materials, but nonetheless, he looks good. Overall, just both the figure looks good. Moving on, we have Grand Line Men and Grand Line Lady. So these are all the figures that we have unboxed last year, and I'll be picking one from each, one from the lady and one from the men. And once again, with these figures, I have no complaints. All of this figure looks good to me. So it will be just a matter of preference. First, Roronoa Zoro. With this figure, I really like the design that they have come up with, especially since I think it's the first time that we have seen Zoro with his katanas at his back. And so it's a bit refreshing to see him in a different character design. And when it comes to details, everything is on point. And as for the likeness, comparing it to the Ichiban Kuji version, this figure looks better in terms of likeness. And just overall, I like this figure more than the others. Next, for the Grand Line Lady, I'm picking Grand Line Lady Stasi. With this figure, and this is just my opinion, but what I think is that she got the most beautiful face among the other Grand Line Lady figures. And when it comes to her hair, I feel like it's been sculpted really well compared to the other figures. And her pose. I think the pose that they picked made her look classy. Next, we have the Sega Luminasta. And this right here are all the figures that we have unboxed last year. And among this figure, I'll be picking 2 as my favorites. First, we have Kaiju number 8. With this figure, what I like the most are the details from head to toe. And I really can't explain why, but whenever I see this figure, I just think this figure looks good. Moving on, next figure we have Okarun Volume 1. First, let's talk about the base. I like how Sega Luminasta designed the base and it really goes well with the dynamic pose with this figure, and just the overall look of the figure, it really looks good. And when it comes to details, everything is on point, and the likeness is 100% for me. As well as comparing it to the volume 2 figure, I think this figure just overall looks better than the volume 2. Moving on, next we have the King of Artists. Last year, King of Artists didn't really release that many figures and just mostly released special versions, but nonetheless, these are all the figures that we have unboxed last year. And as for my favorite, I'll be picking King of Artists Goldie Roger Special Version. So first, let's talk about the metallic finishing. At first, I have my doubts when it comes to it, since I'm not sure if it's going to make the figure look good. But as soon as I open the box, I'm amazed at how well the metallic finishing really suits the figure. And when it comes to details, I guess you could say that King of Artists have never failed to amaze me when it comes to it, so it's a given, I think. So detail wise, the figure really looks great. Next, we have the Grandista series. Last year, Grandista released 5 figures, and here's all of them. To me, all of this figure looks good except for Zoro. I find his facial expression a bit weird, as well as his pose. Other than that, the other figures look good. And my favorite Grandista figure is Grandista Monkey D. Luffy. I find Luffy's figure the most detailed among the others. And I also like the pose, and just overall I just feel like this figure just looked better than the others. Last but not the least, we have the Ichiban Kuji. So when it comes to Ichiban Kuji, we have unboxed quite a few of them last year, but some of them are just big in sizes and won't be able to fit in the table. So what you guys seeing right now are already the favorite that I have picked, and here are the 5 of them. So first figure right here, we have Ichiban Kuji Naruto Shippuden Price B Orochimaru. So first, let's talk about what's my most favorite part of this figure, and that is the snake. I like how Ichiban Kuji incorporated his snake wrapped around his body. I also like how detailed the snake is, as well as the purple rope belt. And when it comes to the paint, I like the shadings that they did, as well as the pose that they pick. And the extra alternate head. For me, those are just added bonus, but they also look good. Next figure, we have Ichiban Kuji Onepiece Price C Jack the Drought. When it comes to this figure, I like everything about it. I love how detailed this figure is from head to toe. I also like the metallic finishing that they did with his shoulder spikes. And also when it comes to the muscle tones as well as the veins popping out, it just looks great and incredibly detailed. Moving on, next figure we have Ichiban Kuji Onepiece Absolute Justice Price D Aramaki. To be fair, Aramaki is my least favorite Navy Admiral, but when it comes to this figure, when I opened the box, I was wowed. Wowed at how detailed this figure is, from his hair to his boots. I also like how detailed the muscle is, as well as the veins just popping out, and just overall the details on this figure. Even the cape looks very good. The gold finishing around the shoulder pads also look great. It really suits the figure. And also with his pose, he really looks so badass at it. I also like the idea of sheathing his sword at his pants. It looks so good. And just the design of his pants as well. And just overall, this figure really looks great. Another great figure for the Ichiban Kuji series. Next figure, we have Ichiban Kuji Hunter x Hunter Revenge of the Scarlet Price D Uvujin. About this figure, at first I have my doubts about it. I wasn't expecting that it would look as good as it is. But as soon as I opened the box, I was surprised at the sheer size of it. This is my first masterlized extra figure, so I wasn't expecting it to be as big as it is. And this figure stands at 35 centimeters. And when it comes to the facial expression, I like how menacing he looks. It perfectly captures what kind of person Uvujin is. It's also surprising how detailed this figure is. From his hair to his fur boots, as well as the muscle tones and just overall, even his scars looks really detailed. And overall, for me, this figure really looks good. Last but not the least, we have Ichiban Kuji, One Piece, Father and Son, Price A, Whitebeard figure. When it comes to details, this figure might not be as detailed as Aramaki or Jack, but nonetheless, this figure still looks great. I just love how he looks, especially his facial expression. It looks as if he's just enjoying himself. Whitebeard is one of my favorite characters in One Piece, so I might be a little biased, but overall I just love this figure. And that's it. This concludes our video, and I'll be posting the poll results at the end of the video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.